Fujifilm X-T30 II review. There's a lot to like about the Fujifilm X-T30 II. Although it's a relatively minor upgrade over its predecessor, overall it's an excellent mid-range camera that's well suited to travel and everyday photography. It packs a fair punch with a great sensor, cracking AF system, and some decent video specs. That said, if you already have the original X-T30, or have a little more budget to spend, it's worth looking. Launched back in 2019, the original Fujifilm X-T30 was intended as a light version of the Fujifilm X-T3, boasting several of the same specifications in a more consumer or travel-friendly body. Fast forward to 2022, and the X-T30 II represents only a modest upgrade. Although considering that the original camera was so good, that's perhaps no surprise. If you already own the X-T30, there's probably little point in upgrading. But if you're looking for a good all-rounder which doesn't put too much of a dent in your wallet and fits neatly into your bag for everyday and travel use, then it's worth considering. And the fact that it's a treat to look at is a nice bonus too. Since 2019, Fujifilm has also had a bit of a shift around in its lineup, doing away with some of its more basic models, and the X-T30 II currently its most beginner-friendly option. But that's not to say you don't get some excellent specs for your cash. And indeed, in many ways, it's a very similar camera to the superb Fujifilm X-10. Housed inside the X-T30 II is a 26.1 megapixel Aps-C sensor, while you also get high-end features such as uncropped 4K video and 20f shooting, which can be boosted to 30f if you're happy to employ a crop. There are also a slew of film simulation modes, a cracking autofocus setup, and customizable controls. All of that could be found on the original X-T30 though. So what's new here? Well, very little really, but there are just enough incremental upgrades to make the overall proposition very good. We'll go into more detail below, but the headlines are a higher resolution screen, the addition of more film simulations, and the ability to record high-speed video in Full HD, and greater sensitivity in low-light shooting. Given that this is the same basic setup as the original X-T30, we were already confident that image quality was going to be great. And we haven't been disappointed. Colors are beautifully vibrant, and images have bags of detail, and those film simulation modes are always fun to experiment with. So what's not to like? Again, we'll go into this in more detail below. But the main bad news is the lack of in-body stabilization, a little bit of awkwardness when it comes to button placement, the screen only tilting. And of course the fact that it's such an incremental upgrade over its predecessor that you might be better off just sticking with that camera. Fujifilm has used the exact same chassis for the X-T30 II as for its predecessor, so there are no surprises here, for better or worse. What that means is that you get a retro-styled body, which we think looks particularly attractive in the black and silver finish. An all-black model is also available, as is commonplace with Fujifilm cameras. There's a scattering of dials and buttons across the top and back of the camera, and a good degree of customization options. Beginners shouldn't be put off, however, as there's also a good auto mode which you can use and lets you happily ignore as many of the dials and buttons as you want to. Given that we've seen the X-T30 II sensor in multiple cameras, we didn't expect any surprises when it came to image and video quality. In fact, the sensor is probably the best Aps-C sensor on the market right now, so you're all but assured of good image quality. Fujifilm has earned a lot of fans for the way its cameras handle color. And as we'd expect, you get beautifully rich tones and vibrancy. JPEG images directly from the camera look fantastic, while the RAW files give you lots of scope to make adjustments as you see fit. Fujifilm makes some of the best mid-range cameras on the market, and with its cracking sensor, fast shooting, good autofocus, and decent video options, the Fujifilm X-T30 II is a versatile all-rounder that suits a variety of genres.